Hey, welcome to the AEC After Hours podcast. We're part of the Amarillo Exchange Club. We are a networking group in Amarillo focused on networking, referrals, and community outreach. Today, we have a special guest, Mr. John Williams of Williams Family Insurance. Good morning.
How are you? Good morning. Good. Thank you for having me.
Glad to have you here. So I've actually known John for many years, even before I joined the networking group. He actually had invited me for about 3 years, and I either said no or just didn't have time. And I finally made the decision to join, and it's been a wonderful journey ever since. John has been a good friend of ours and almost like a father figure to a lot of us. And it's a very special episode to have him here, special time to have him here. John, let's just go ahead and hop in, dig in, and Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do, and we'll start there.
All right. So, it's kind of a loaded question. When you say who are you or what do you do, I think it's all kind of intertwined. So I'm a lifelong Amarillo resident. Lived in I think 3 different houses my entire life, and grew up here. Went to school out at River Road. Went to college at WT. Had a 25-year education career, and then in 2015, I hopped over into the insurance world. Still educating people, I believe, but more in the realm of insurance and things like that. So, married for 30, just crossed our 34th year.
Congratulations!
Our anniversary. Yes, my wife Jody, and we have 2 boys, Brandon and Josh. And they're both married and have little ones, and so we're loving the grandparent life. But I think when you say who are you or describe who you are, I think we're made up of our life's experiences and things like that.
Absolutely.
And whether it be childhood or our faith or our upbringing or parents or whatever, I think it all kind of molds us into who we are, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
So,
and you have a huge heart for people. Hearing you talk about, and I've known you for a long time, being in the education world, teaching, and then obviously in the line of work that you do now. We've sat down with you, we've had appointments with you, we've done business with you. A phrase comes to mind: people first, profits follow. And then when I hear that, I think about you because, like, when you sat down with us, you were like, hey, this is the plan. If you want it, great. If you don't want it, that's also great. But I just want to let you know this is what your best options are. Can you tell us a little bit how that servant's heart that you present has helped you along in your journey and where that comes from?
Sure. So, there's also another phrase that I've always kind of has had an impact on me, and that's been that income is the outcome; it's not the objective. We get paid for what we do, and whether it be insurance or something else, I think that people need help. Whatever they're looking for. Nobody wants to be sold, and I think you can tell when you're just being sold. And so, in the specific realm of insurance, when I sit down with somebody, I want them to know what all's available. And most people don't know what's available because they don't have any reason to know. We learn the Pythagorean theorem in high school, but we don't learn about insurance or fixing your plumbing or something like that.
Yeah.
And while I know it's important, I think that there needs to be a resource, whether it be an insurance or whatever the case may be, that we can just turn to somebody for help.
Right.
And I think that people buy you rather than buying your product. And I want to position myself as just being that resource, that if they ask me what I think, I'm going to tell them what I think, whether I make money off of it or not. Sure. Or if I know of something else that's available, I want them to know that and to be able to take advantage of it, because, even if they don't buy something from me, if I help them, they're going to tell their family or their friends, hey, go talk to John or his sons. Both of my boys work with me in the insurance world, but so I think it's more just about taking care of people, and I think that honors God and what He's blessed us with, and then I think that through all that He takes care of us, and the income comes from helping people.
Yes, there it is. That servant's heart. You just focus on Him and let Him guide your footsteps. Right. You just keep walking.
Oh yeah.
I got you. I love that. Yeah. As far as it comes to the products and what you do, can you tell us a little bit about what you provide and walk me through that process? Walk us through the process.
Sure. So, insurance is transferring risk in the big picture. You're paying a little bit of money or a lot of money each month to transfer the risk to a company that if something catastrophic happened, then they're going to take that risk. You're going to, have your premium that you pay, and you're going to have probably some deductibles. And that's whether it's health insurance or car insurance or homeowners insurance or, business insurance or whatever. Ultimately, you're just transferring that risk. Mm-hmm. So we focus on the health side. Health, accident, dental, vision, things like that. We don't do anything with property and casualty, so no home and auto or anything like that. Okay. But we focus on that. We have some great products that we have access to, and that's kind of where it gets into making sure people know what's available. Mm-hmm. So there are underwritten plans. So they'll look at medical history or prescription history and see, are you a good risk for this medically underwritten plan? Mm-hmm. There are plans through the Affordable Care Act, or also known as Obamacare, that has nothing to do with your medical history. It's based on your income. Okay. There's also plans they call them sharing plans, where it's usually, it kind of started out as a faith-based scenario, but, excuse me, where, people are paying into a pot in general, and they share each other's costs that way. So, we have, I don't sell all those products, but I know they're available. And, kind of depending on what does this person need? Yeah. Are they healthy? Do they rarely go to the doctor? They may not take any medications, but you never know what's going to happen when you walk out the door. Mm-hmm. You may get hit by a car. You may step off the sidewalk and, end up in the emergency room. Mm-hmm. So even if somebody's very healthy, they still need insurance, but somebody that's in treatment for something, they need a different type of insurance. Sure. It's not the same. Yeah. And so when we try to make something one size fits all, I think that we're not serving people correctly. Right. I don't think we should try to force them into a particular product just because it's what I sell, right, or just because this is what is trending right now. Mm-hmm. It's what do they need? What do they need for their medications, for their treatment, or whatever? Mm-hmm. So that's kind of a long roundabout answer to your question. Yeah. But no,
it's good. It's good.
It's all things health.
Yeah. So you don't have just a cookie cutter type of program or product. You're just like, okay, this person needs this person needs this. What is your demographic? Like, do you serve all ages, all types, or what's your demographic?
So really the focus is, anybody really 18 to 65, 64 and a half. Okay. usually when somebody turns 65, they go on to a Medicare program, and I'm not licensed in the Medicare realm. I have some great contacts for Medicare, and I'm always happy to, because we do get a number of people that are like, we're retiring and I'm on Medicare, but my wife is not quite 65.
Sure.
And so they'll need, some kind of a split. And I want to be that one-stop resource for them, that if I can't take care of them, I have a friend that can. And then, most 18-year-olds, all the way up to 26, a lot of them are still on their parents' insurance.
Okay.
And a lot of times that's where they need to stay. But you do have those occasions where, they might need something. But, in general, 26 to 64 and a half, but we do have younger ones. And then, of course, their family members and stuff like that we can take care of.
Okay. Do you currently service singles, couples, families?
Yes.
All the above?
We do. We have, there's individuals, there's families, self-employed, small business owners,
Okay.
Those that, they may be on a plan through an employer, but it's, too costly, or may not be a good fit to add their family to their plan. So we can help, like their family members. I never want to take somebody away from an employer plan, because that's a benefit they're getting. And usually it's relatively affordable. And I understand that affordable is kind of one of those words that's based on perspective.
Right.
But again, to your question, it's really anybody,
Okay.
Whether they're individuals or families or short term. What they need something for this period of time. Maybe they just left the job and they need something until their new benefits kick in, or that person is like, I'm self-employed and I want to get insurance and I don't want to mess with it again until I go on Medicare.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So it's the full gamut.
I got you. And let me ask you this. We've talked about it before. Do you go into small mom and pop businesses and try to help their employees or a group of employees? Or do you like to just have like single appointments and whatnot? How do you like to do that?
So I do go into small businesses. And partly I go in there because, if it's a small business, I want to support them, if I can.
Sure.
Can I buy their product, or can I share their post on social media or whatever? And I want to build that relationship. And a lot of times they'll have insurance already or something like that, but we can help small businesses.
Sure.
Now, once a business gets to 50 employees, the laws change, and they're more bound by what they are required to offer.
Yeah.
But if they have fewer than 50 employees, and every situation's different again. But I really do enjoy going into those businesses. I think that's how I met you.
Yeah.
Was coming into a shake shop at one time, which is a small business.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, it's ultimately it ends up being individuals, because we'll still talk with each person individually.
Yeah.
Even if it is a business wanting to do something for their employees.
Like just for example, like for my company, I've got 5 guys who work for me. If I wanted to, I could have you come in and you could talk to them individually and let them make their own decision. But I have no say so, and I'll pay for this or that. It's up to the person working for me, right?
Correct. So let's say that you had some employees and they wanted some information or options. I would go in and meet with them, see what do they need. Where are they now? I don't want to ever change somebody just for the sake of changing them. If it doesn't put them in a better position, there's no reason to. If they're on mom and dad's insurance with their siblings and it's not costing them anything, it's kind of silly to, try to get them to switch. But, if they have nothing, a lot of times they don't know something's available, or that that these options are out there. And so we'll talk with them individually. But then you, as an employer, you do have the option of paying if you want to, or contributing, whether it be a certain amount, a percentage. Maybe you have a manager or something, you really want to provide something for them, but you really can't do it for everyone.
Sure.
So by doing it, letting me visit with them individually, you kind of have that option of doing what you want, or what you feel is best for your company.
Okay, cool. I didn't know that. That's good to know. You had mentioned something earlier about popping in and supporting local business. I want to just say you are one of the best networkers and people person and relationship builders that I've ever met. That's a skill that you have mastered, right?
Thank you.
Where does that come from? Because like you share the post, I feel like you know everyone. It's like you're the mayor of South Amarillo or something. You know what I mean? It's like everywhere you go, someone knows you. You're shaking hands. Where does that come from?
Oddly enough, I think it comes from my parents.
Okay.
They have both passed now, but my dad was an educator for my whole life, and as well as working other jobs. And then my mom was always involved at church and did they called it cradle roll back then, but she took care of like babies and stuff that would come to the church or visit the church, and she would go visit them and give them a little Bible and invite them back to church or whatever. And so, with both of them being so involved in people activities, whether it be teaching. My dad, he taught Sunday school. My mom always taught in the nursery also. So they were always involved with people, and I was always going with them, whether it was visiting people for the church or, going to. I remember going with my dad to Halloween carnivals and stuff like that. I was always around people.
Okay.
And then being a teacher, you're obviously talking all the time.
Yeah.
And getting that new kid into class and wanting to greet them and trying to make them feel comfortable. I guess growing up that way, I've always loved talking with people. Obviously, I love talking, as you can tell. But just being around people, having that connection, building those relationships. I just love doing that, and finding out about people and their backgrounds and where they're from and where they are, and I think that my love language is probably serving.
Okay.
And I really enjoy that, and I think it's a ministry of being able to serve people. But and I think networking is that it's the beginning of that, whether it be meeting somebody new at a chamber activity or somebody visits our group. It's always awkward for them, coming in, and so I want to kind of be that doorway or whatever you might call it.
Yeah, absolutely.
For them.
I mean, if you guys are listening to this and you're in business, I promise you know John. You've seen him at every after hours, every chamber event, every ribbon cutting. This guy, you make it look so effortless and easy. And for a guy like me who is, some would say they look at me and I look a little intimidating, so it makes networking a little harder for me. But like I just watch you and it's just like so easy. It's like, man, I wish I could be like John. You know what I mean? I love the way you do things, love the way you build business. Let
me tell you this. It's I enjoy it, but it's not easy. It's become more easy and more natural over the years, but I go to chamber events or whatever, and I see somebody that's, very well known, and I'm intimidated.
Yeah.
But especially in a business that I'm in, with it being, I'm a 1099 contractor, so I'm completely commission based, and I've got to put myself out there.
Sure.
And so a lot of times it's just a matter of introducing myself, and then that usually that conversation just flows, but it's not it's natural, but it's not easy all the time, for sure.
You've mastered the skill, though. That's for
Oh,
sure.
thank you.
You've mastered the skill. So, in a previous life, I was also in insurance sales, and back then there was a stigma or a negative connotation whenever you spoke insurance. Today, in your era of insurance, is that still a thing? And if it is, how have you overcome that?
I think it very much is. A lot of people, if they're healthy, they don't feel like they need health insurance. And then when they do get health insurance, if they're healthy, they very well may not use it, so it appears to be wasted money. And I get that. And I kind of relate it to, car insurance or homeowners insurance. In that, again, the big picture is that you're transferring that risk of a catastrophic loss. Somebody may get insurance and they go to the doctor and they're like, I still had to pay $50. Why is my insurance not paying?
Right.
And so it seems like they're paying all this money but not getting really anything in return. And that's when I really kind of go to the car insurance, which I don't sell, but we all have car insurance,
right?
Because we have to,
right?
But we still change our tires. We still change our alternator when it breaks, or fix our, get it fixed, or we still, pay for the gas and all that. We don't use our insurance until there's something major, something, your heater breaks or your air conditioner breaks at home. You fix it. Your insurance doesn't fix it. Usually, those general maintenance type things, you still pay for that. And it's kind of the same in health insurance. You go to the doctor, you're still going to pay something. But what you want to be sure is that, if you have that bad accident or you have some kind of a diagnosis or you need a surgery or something, and you go to the hospital, that, you're not going to be stuck with the whole thing, that the insurance company is going to cover that. But it is very much a stigma, especially to those that are healthy. Not so much to those that have used insurance and had it pay. I think they more see the issue of or the value of paying it's a significant amount of money, usually people's premiums. But when you get that $100,000 bill or something like that, and you're not stuck with it, then I think that comes along. But very much a stigma still, and nobody wants to pay for something they're not getting to use.
Yeah, there's a phrase I remember back in the day whenever I was in it. It was, it's better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it.
Absolutely.
And I've always remembered that phrase. And even whenever I'm trying to teach my kids something, or when I get to use it, I'll use it.
Yeah.
But you're absolutely right. It's I remember a story of a friend of mine who got really, really sick and didn't realize that she had an insurance policy she bought when she was in her 20s. And I think we're well in our 30s now, and found the policy and it was still active. And called the company and said, yeah, we're good. We can cover you all the things. And it was a huge blessing.
Yeah.
But they bought it at a young age. They were healthy. Didn't know, it was still coming drafted or whatever. But they were still able to use it through a very catastrophic season of their lives.
Yeah.
And those are the stories you love to hear. Not that they're sick, but that they were able to get helped.
Oh, for sure. For sure. And, usually when somebody has a major claim, they're dealing with a crisis, whether it be an accident or something going on with their kids or whatever. And the last thing they want to be worried about is finances. But a lot of times it's one of the first things they're worried about. And then you hear those stories of, I'm not going to the emergency room even though I need to because I can't afford it, or I don't have insurance or whatever. So, obviously you want people to get the treatment that they need regardless of their insurance situation, but it's a deciding factor a lot of times.
Sure. Yes, absolutely.
So
outside of your work life, your business life, what other things do viewers not know about you, or do you want them to know about you?
Golly. I don't know what they don't know about me. I ramble a lot, so I pretty much open. Within the last just a little over 2 years, we've had the joy and the blessing of having 3 grandkids, and the oldest one just turned 2, and then our youngest granddaughter has just turned 6 months. So that has been such a huge part of our life, of getting to go see them or FaceTime with them, or them coming to see us. Being self-employed, one of the blessings is controlling my schedule. And so when they say, hey, y'all want to come see us tonight, or we're coming to town, or y'all want to come down for the weekend, or whatever, it's so awesome to be able to just take off and do that.
Yeah.
And so, especially with my youngest son working with me, our oldest son is licensed and part of Williams Family Insurance, but he's a firefighter by trade, and that's his true passion. But family is everything, whether it be our kids or brothers, sisters, our grandkids, of course, cousins. We're close to so many of them, but I love what I do, and I feel like I'm always, quote, working, or always available, I guess, but family, church is and our faith is such a big thing in our lives, and I think we have a pretty simple life. We don't go out and hang out with a bunch of people, or do a lot of traveling or anything like that. Jody and I just love spending time together and doing things together. We love being able to see kids and grandkids. And quite honestly, the Amarillo Exchange Club is a big part of my life.
Yeah.
And I arrange trips and appointments and stuff around that.
Yes.
Because I love the people so much, and just getting to do that. So it's not a very, very exciting life, but
no, hey, let me tell you something.
But I love that.
Let me tell you something. Through all the lunches we've had, and this man can eat, guys. This man can eat. If you guys want to have a lunch and a good conversation, he's the guy to call. But through our many lunches and many conversations we've had together, you say you have a simple life, but it sounds like it's full of joy and fulfillment. And I think that's what we're all chasing.
Yeah.
That's what we're all chasing. Like we can go through this whole day by day activities and go through all the motions and everything, but like some people were asking, like, for what? Then I'm sitting across from a man that's built a great business, has a great family, loving family, and you say simple, but to me it's like, man, you've made it. It's fulfilled. You've got it's joyful, and I love to see that. Joyful. And the Lord has really blessed you for it, because 100% I believe that you put Him first, and then you put people, and because if you have your servant's heart, you've built an incredible life and an incredible business. And I just want to say that's freaking awesome, John.
Thank you.
You're one of the coolest dudes, sweetest dudes I ever known, and super happy to have you in my life. And I'm super happy and grateful you invited me to the group, because I'm just like you. I wake up every Thursday morning. I'm super excited to be there. Love the people. Love to see everyone. One last question, real quick, before we end this show. What value, or what is it that you want people to know the most, or also how can we reach out to you? Like if we need you.
So, kind of taking that in reverse order. I'm on social media.
Okay.
We do have. I have a personal Facebook page. I have a Williams Family Insurance business Facebook page. On Instagram, kinda. I don't really. I do have an account.
Yeah.
We'll leave it at that. But my contact information is there. You can always go to williamsfamilyinsurance.com and our info is there. So, and obviously, I think you could probably just Google my name or our company, and contact information would be there. But what was the other question?
What?
Sorry.
Let me ask you this. It's probably a better question. Who is your ideal referral, ideal client what value we can provide to you?
So, our ideal client is someone between the ages of 18 and 64, okay. 64 and a half. Someone that is, not covered through an employer health insurance plan, or would like to look at some options for their family. Okay. Someone that is self-employed, maybe they own a small business or they work for a small business. Really just anyone that is not already covered, okay. That is just looking for options. I'm going to show them all their options. Sure. And really build that relationship. I think that I'm friends with all my clients, and even past ones that have, maybe they've had us for a while, and then they've moved on to a job or something like that had benefits. I still want to be friends with them, and I think one of the most valuable things that we provide is you don't just sign up for a plan, whoever it's through, and then you're just off on your own. Mm-hmm. We're that constant resource and contact, and rather than just having to call an 800 number and hope that you get somebody that can help you. Yes. We're that contact, and we can walk through all that with you.
Yes. And I will attest to that. Anytime I have any questions about my policy or any kind of health insurance questions, I call John immediately, and regardless of the relationship we have in business, he's always in our corner. He'll fight for us. He'll even call the company and be like, hey, this is what's going on. Let me get some information. And he's, sometimes he's busy, but I'm still going to call him or text him, and he's going to be in your corner fighting for you. So, and I really appreciate that, and I love that about you, John.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for being here today, and it's been a pleasure conversating with you, as always.
Yes, sir.
Love you and your family. Love what you do, and I love your energy and what you bring to the table and to your customers and whatnot. And you're a blessing, man. Straight up, you're just a blessing. So thank you again for being here. And again, we are the Amarillo Exchange Club AAC After Hours podcast. Please give us a like, a follow, share our content. We're on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. We will be on Spotify soon. So if you don't like watching your phone, you can put us in your ear and we'll be right there. So you guys have a great day. Appreciate you. We're out.